Now Tekken 8 is looking to put an end to the Mishima feud, which the entire world will celebrate. But what about the other characters? What about some of the other characters' stories? Huh? They need some time too, right? Of course, in Tekken 5, they actually took some time to look at the other characters outside the Mishimas, you know, people who actually exist in the game. In Tekken 5, you had like rival battles, dialogue exchange between certain characters. They took time to give these other characters good stories. Tekken 7, well, that was a complete disaster in terms of the other characters' chapters. Those were horrific. Given one fight, one sentence of lore, horrible storytelling. This looks to be improved in Tekken 8 as these characters have been given more fights, and the majority of the cast is now included in the main story, which is a plus for once. So yeah, this should be interesting. But let's talk about our boy Leroy right here, and why Leroy might be one of the most powerful characters in Tekken. Wait, what? Now, of course, Leroy appeared as DLC in Tekken 7 and he kind of lit the game up. Everyone's like, who's this guy dripped out? Decent story. And he was obviously released broken to the point where every damn person was using Leroy in the tournament's finals. Kind of a disaster, really. Got nerfed 1,000 times and he's still strong. But let's talk about his lore, his story. Quick summary. Leroy is essentially the hero, the ass kicker in New York. Gangs were taking over and Leroy got busy. He washed them. Turns out all this gang activity was because of the Mishima Zaibatsu. So Leroy wanted Heihachi's head. Tekken 7 arrived and of course Heihachi got taken out by his own son, Kazuya. Heihachi's dead and please stay dead. And now, as you can clearly see, Kazuya is the big new threat. He's the problem. All cities hell. The world is in trouble because of Kazuya. He wants to take over and Leroy ain't having it. So Leroy's goal in Tekken 8 is to take out Kazuya. Yeah, good luck with that. And that's pretty much his bio. And you might say to yourself, wait a minute. How does that say he's one of the strongest characters in Tekken? That bio said nothing. You're right, that bio didn't. Feng's bio says otherwise. Take a look at this astonishing revelation. Feng Wei is a master of Taiji Quan, guided by the teachings of the God Fist Scrolls. He aims to become the perfect warrior who transcends all, the Dragon God. However, in the most recent King of Iron Fist tournament, Tekken 7, Feng Wei suffered a crushing defeat at the hands of the Wing Chun master Leroy Smith. Wait, what? Leroy washed Feng Wei. Canon. Wow. Of course, you know Feng Wei is one of the most powerful characters outside the Mishimas. You see this guy destroying boulders, punching mountains. Feng Wei is a problem. Leroy defeated him. Just by doing that, established one of the most powerful characters in Tekken. You saw Feng Wei punk out Paul and Law. They had Feng Wei bury your boys. And the two of them shook running. And Leroy clapped this man on his Jack Jones. So Tekken 8 is looking decent for Leroy. Of course he's not going to beat Kazuya. He's probably going to renew his rivalry with Feng Wei. Of course, you saw him talking to Jin. Maybe Jin just defeated him and then Leroy's giving Jin a pep talk. So what I mean is other characters are actually getting decent feuds, getting some time on screen. So this is good for Leroy. Because if you think about all the other new characters, how many of them had any kind of impact? Where are they now? One sentence of lore disappeared, zero impact. The only character you can say was actually pushed and had an impact was Claudio. And now that we know Leroy, but outside that, where are the rest of them? This is why this is going to be much better. 5 fights, and of course we saw during the Tekken talk a couple of the chapter previews. And some of these look good and obviously some of them look goofy. Let's take a look at some of these. That's interesting right there. Kazuya and Jin with the Jun in the background. Yeah, that's clearly a what if. That ain't never gonna happen. The family making up. Non-canon. I can't see that happening. Probably just a feel-good ending. Is that Law? Law with over a table with a full plate of food and shit? Law open back up his restaurant? Law getting back some money? Is that what that is? Law not getting buried for once? Again, we have no idea. This can just be a trick. But can Law get a decent ending for once, please? Lily and Azuzina, who cares? That's gonna be goofy as hell. Anyone Lily fused with is downhill. Steve Fox winning all belts. That's probably all different weight classes or some shit. Are they gonna touch on his relationship with Nina? Is that gonna go anywhere? Of course, Steve spent his entire career trying to find his mom, found her in Tekken 7. Nina turned around and says, I don't care, get lost. Wow, maybe they can work on that. Give Nina something to do in the game. That would be actually interesting. Obviously, we saw Paul's bio. Looks like Paul is still a tramp. God knows what they're gonna do with this character. Literally, no one knows. But put it this way, he can't get any worse than he already is. Oscar, talk about a character that flopped. Good grief. Oh, that's right, she's still feuding with Lily. Wow. What a complete waste. That feud with Lily brought Oscar down. Lily is to Oscar what Kuma is to Paul. Dead weight. Just buried the characters. Wow. Reina done more in her freaking trailer than Oscar done in her entire Tekken career. Reina is already above Oscar in terms of lore. Absolutely embarrassing. We see King on the battlefield. I think most of the characters on the battlefield will definitely get chances to show off their abilities, and that's all people ever wanted, just to give them some time on screen. So again, it's an improvement over Tekken 7 for damn sure. Maybe your boy Victor actually does something. Maybe he's vital to the story. Again, we're gonna have to wait and see, but the main thing is that this Mishima shit should be over. Please. We do not want to be 6 years old talking about the devil gene. After this, move on, please. Wow, what a played out saga. There are so many more interesting characters in Tekken outside the Mishimas. Give them some time. Like, come on, man. You got guys like Eddie trying to finish his story since Tekken 3. They got Eddie out here looking like Cody Rhodes. But obviously, when he comes in as DLC, give him a decent story, please. What you gave to him in Tekken 7 was a complete disaster. Had Lucky Chloe embarrass that man in his own ending, and then don't show up in the next game. Man's DLC out here. But hey, Craig on King, I want to see what they're up to. People, who do you think's gonna get buried? Who do you think's gonna get put over? Will this be the best Tekken story? What do you think?